Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to our Atlanta Falcons news and rumor video here on a Monday. And just sit back for a second, take a deep breath, and pat yourself on the back and say, we did it. Training camp is officially upon us. Atlanta is reporting tomorrow. We're talking about that on today's video. But I want to start mainly with a Dion Jones trade. Now, we've talked about this in the past, but just go ahead and throw up the player card right now, revolving what could be a very near trade in the future with the Falcons linebacker. Now, as we have said, the odds of this actually happening pre-training camp are always going to be a little bit low due to the fact he has a shoulder surgery, and they want to see what Trey Anderson is able to do. But Bleacher Report, I think, is on the right track here. They gave a really, really good article citing how the Cowboys are the perfect spot for Dion Jones. When you break down the money, not only with the Atlanta Falcons and Jones's contract, but the Cowboys as well, it just makes a lot of sense. And so now the question is, will this actually happen? I'm not sure, but with Jones's salary being about $14.7 million this year, and Dallas having over $20 million in free cap space, you would just love for this to go ahead and happen for the Atlanta Falcons to not only get something in return for Dion Jones, remove some of the cap hit that he's currently carrying, and kind of usher in these younger guys like Rashawn Evans and Troy Anderson and Michael Walker. So it would be a win-win for both the Dallas Cowboys and the Falcons. I would love to see this deal done, especially since training camp, like I said at the top of the video, is officially upon us. So let's start first with Bleacher Report. A nice quote here, a little snippet from their article on Dion Jones. We'll throw it up on your screen. Quote, if the Cowboys are willing to make a trade, Dion Jones, the Atlanta Falcons, is a target who makes perfect sense, so long as Dallas is willing to take on some of the $24.9 million in dead money remaining on his contract. The article would continue to go on and give you a very simple trade, and this is important to go ahead and show because I think a lot of Falcon fans would expect a third or a fourth round draft pick for Dion Jones, and honestly, it's just not the case. Again, Bleacher Report is correct. Dallas would get Dion Jones, take on all the the dead cap money, the salary, and Atlanta would get a 2023 sixth round draft pick, which you say, again, is not a lot. But you got to remember, Jones is no longer the linebacker that he once was. He's not a star middle linebacker in this league. He's really not even a top 10 middle linebacker in this league at this point. He's slowly kind of declined over the years, which happens to every single linebacker in the National Football League. Most players get older and they start to decline a little bit, but the money's a little bit too much. They gave him too big of a contract, too long of a contract a couple of years ago, and are now paying the price. What's important to note here is if you get rid of Dion Jones, yes, you put a little bit more pressure on guys like Troy Anderson, and yes, sure, you lose the mentorship of Dion Jones with the young linebackers, but the young linebackers, most notably get reps and actual time on the football field. You want Anderson to run with the ones. I think as a second round draft pick, he is ready to rock right now and needs to get up to speed as quickly as possible. He needs to play a bunch of preseason games and get a ton of snaps in training camp, and if Dion Jones is gone, he's going to get a lot more of those. Now, obviously, Dion Jones is injured right now, and so it's not like he's going to line up tomorrow and actually get on the practice field on Wednesday, but as training camp would progress, he could be go ahead and activated to the starting, or not the starting roster, but actually activated and elevated to actually being able to practice on the field, and that would go ahead and take reps away from Anderson. So I think overall, this trade would make a ton of sense. Will it actually happen? Who knows? We'll keep you guys on track and up to date in terms of what could happen with Jones. Would he stay or would he go? What do you guys think? Would you trade or keep Dion Jones? Where are we at on this? Type T down below for trade or type K down below for keep. Now, we talked about a video last week as we move forward here on today's video regarding Jimmy Garoppolo. And the Jimmy Garoppolo trade rumors have sparked some major drama in the ATL. Do you remember? We talked about it, I think it was either Friday or Thursday. There was a tweet from an NFL Falcons insider who said one of the 5 teams who have called about Jimmy Garoppolo was, in fact, the Atlanta Falcons. And I talked about how it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, okay, you're going to trade for him. We already have Marcus Mariota, and you drafted Desmond Ridder, plus he's going to cost you like $20+ million. Where are you going to find that money? I don't understand how it would work. And yet, again, the Falcons have made that phone call according to the source. And so you go with that and you say, all right, they think it could be possible. Now, will it actually be possible? That's what I want to dive into today, focusing in on a Falcons Wire article, giving you 5 reasons why not to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, which we'll get into here in just one second. Their 5 reasons are the 5 reasons that I agree with, and we're going to dive into why exactly I would not trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, and neither would the Falcons Wire writer of the article. We'll talk about that. Now, first off, it is officially training camp week, and officially the Falcons are going to be at Flowery Branch tomorrow. Their first practice, I believe, is Wednesday. We'll talk more about that later on in today's video, but all that means is you're actually getting news to start trickling in. All offseason long, every single NFL writer, every single host, every single blog person, Twitter guy, we're all waiting for the actual news. Like, there is some news during the offseason with trades, and then obviously you get to the draft is a little exciting, but once we get to training camp and it's here, the news really starts to roll in, and that's a long-winded way to say you should subscribe to this channel. This channel is going to be nonstop Falcons news and rumors over the next couple of weeks, really months leading into the season, and of course beyond. So if you guys like the Falcons, and you don't want to sit there waiting for a little snippet to pop up on ESPN about the Falcons, which it never will, because they barely talk about, most NFL teams that aren't Brady and the Bucks and, Rodgers and the Packers, this is your one-stop shop. So go down below, hit that subscribe button. You will not be disappointed by the great content that we have here. So, back to the Garoppolo stuff. I want to throw up the Falcons Wire, top 5 reasons not to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Go one by one here. I think it makes a ton of sense. First off is the injury history, and I'm not as worried about the injury history, but it is true. Garoppolo has had a ton of injuries throughout his career and missed a bunch of games, and so if you traded for him and gave him that much money, then obviously you're going to have to worry about will he actually play, all 17 games here in 2022. Next is his cap hit. He is expensive, and the contract is over $20 million. The cap hit is 26. I think that would be the real main driving force in not trading for Garoppolo, just because you can't really make enough money, enough room to go ahead and add him. Now, you can always, work the cap, as we talk about here on the channel, but very hard to do. He would be expensive. The number 3 is Ridder and Marcus Mariota. I'll push back a little bit on this and say one thing to note is that Mariota and Ridder are making like a combined $6 million a year this season. They're not expensive, and so if you're worried about money when it comes to paying too many quarterbacks, not a big deal for the Falcons, but just too many quarterbacks on the roster in general would bump Ridder's, I think, progress down a little bit in progression, and so obviously with Mariota trying to be the starter, it just seems like you get too many bodies in one quarterback room. Number 4, this is one I'll hit in on a little bit in a couple of minutes. The timing makes no sense. Again, you already got Marcus Mariota, so why would you have got Marcus Mariota, said he was the starter, give him all the 1 reps at minicamp, and then turn around and get Garoppolo? And number 5, Garoppolo is not a long-term option, which is an obvious one because he's not going to be the quarterback, hopefully next year, because you'd want Desmond Ridder to do that because you drafted him to be the starting quarterback. And that leads me into my thought here. Like, it's way too late to do this deal. And I know you had to wait on Jimmy Garoppolo to get healthy and kind of get cleared after he had the injury he suffered last year. But had you not gotten Marcus Mariota, it makes sense. I'd be actually for this. I think it would be totally, okay, yeah, you can win games with Jimmy Garoppolo because he's won a lot of games, a lot of big games with the 49ers. But at this point, it's too late. You got to roll with Marcus Mariota because you've made him the starter. I mean, he's going to be the guy. Barring an incredible training camp from Desmond Ridder, Mariota will start week 1 for the Atlanta Falcons, and rightfully so. You'll wait for Ridder to go ahead and get ready, and once he is, you'll make the swap, and it's just that simple. So I think that the Garoppolo stuff, I wanted to hit on it again, a little bit overblown. I don't think it's going to happen. They did make the phone call according to that report, and so we have to obviously address that, but I think in the end, Atlanta's going to make the right move and not trade for Garoppolo. He'll probably go to Seattle, or he'll go to the Cleveland Browns or something like that, and we will roll with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder for the foreseeable future. Now, would you guys trade for Jimmy G? If you would, type Y down below for yes. If you would not, like me, go ahead and type N down below for no. I wouldn't do it. I don't think you guys should either, or should want to either, and so obviously give me a big N for no. Okay, what you should do is pick up the Falcons hat and t-shirt combo, which for training camp right now, it's 40% off. And obviously, if you're going to training camp, we'll give you the dates here in just a second. You're going to want to wear a hat and a t-shirt because I live in Atlanta, as you guys know, and it is insanely hot right now. Oh my gosh. A hat, protect from the sun. T-shirt, we're at the Falcons, 40% off, chatsports.com/Falcons combo. It's the link that you need down below is also found in the description box. Pick up your gear, rep the Falcons, and get ready for the 2022 season, which, if anything, will be interesting, right? At least it's going to be interesting. Okay, we'll end on the training camp details because I know obviously people are excited for training camp starting this week. Want to give you some important dates and show you exactly how it's going to go the next couple of weeks. First off, tomorrow your veterans are reporting to training camp. Rookies are already there. They were there last week, and I've gotten some rookie work in, but the vets officially report tomorrow. Nothing really happens tomorrow. They kind of just check in. It's like orientation, right? It's day 1 of actually being a Falcons training camp. Maybe a little bit of work there, maybe a workout, but they're not actually going to be on the practice field with a helmet on, right? That starts on the 27th. That's your first practice with the Atlanta Falcons. Again, probably be more of a walkthrough, a lot more conditioning. How in shape are these guys? That always happens in the National Football League. And then actually your first open practice up at Flowery Branch is the 29th, which is Friday, I believe. And so obviously you get to see the Falcons practice, but not a lot's going to happen because, again, it's very, very early. Your first preseason game is the opener at Detroit. That one is August 12th, which is 2 weeks away. I mean, it's going to be Thursday, August 12th. That's 2 Thursdays from now. It's going to come very, very quickly. Your first roster cut, I think maybe 5 players, is going to be August 17th. Your second preseason game at the Jets is going to be August 22nd. And your final preseason one is going to be at home at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And finally, the most important one is your biggest roster cut, right? You go for all the way down to 53 men on August 31st, and that is going to be a final roster, which we'll break down, obviously, here on the channel. Now, preseason is a very slow build, and I want to make that very, very clear that over the next couple of weeks, it is very slow. It is very scripted. And so we're going to cover news and rumors here on the channel, as we always say. But you got to take some things with a grain of salt. If Ridder has a bad series, you can't freak out. Now, if Ridder has 5 straight bad practices, then you can start to worry. But the same goes for the young guys of London and Katie. And we're going to cover this stuff because people are going to report it. But just know that it's a very slow build. They got to get these guys into shape. They got to get them, learning the playbook completely, and then start letting them hit each other once they put pads on, which is still, again, a couple of weeks away. Either way, we've done it. Training camp, thankfully, it's officially here. We're locked and loaded and ready here on our Atlanta Falcons channel and have you guys tons of updates and tons of great content. Now, are you guys ready for training camp? If you are, type ATL. I know you guys are pumped. Type ATL down below in the description box if you are as excited as I am. All right, again, I will say it one more time. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Plenty of great content coming up over the next couple of days and weeks. Hashtag Falcons down below in the comment section if you guys want to be a part of a mailbag as well. That's a little hint there to possibly be picked for that one. For Atlanta Falcons Today, producer Jeffrey or Thomas Mott signing off to the rest of your day.